Yeah. Family, y'all. Just keep it tight, keep it tight, keep it tight. All right. Yeah. Here we go, here we go.
It's John chapter 15, verse 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Here it says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Here John declares that Jesus is the vine from God the Father. In other words, God the Father connected to Jesus. And I'm speaking about me. I am nothing without him and his teachings. I am connected to God the Father through Jesus. That's how I interpret this life. The next verse is, every branch in me that bears no fruit, he cuts away, and every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes to make it even better or more. That kind of reflects to me that he helps me get rid of my sins. I need to cut those sins out. Or in other words, he can also cut me out and throw me in the fire or get rid of me as a branch. He helps me if I do well, my behavior, and I try in this world very, very hard to do well. I will produce fruit, which means I will influence other people, especially my children and my grandchildren and my future great-grandchildren, my generation. It doesn't help for me to hold on, I'm blessed and all that, if I don't share it. I have to pass it on. Like we said at school, we used to say, have a good day, pass it on. Don't hold on to it. Pass it on. So that's what I did in line 2. And on 3, the verses, you are clean already by means of the word that I have spoken to you. In other words, he has already, if I accept the word, I am already in the process of becoming a person by living in the word. It is a process that I have to go on and remind myself to carry on with my beliefs. Number 4, remind me as I in you, as a branch cannot bear fruit all by itself unless it remains part of the vine. Neither can you unless you remain in me. Again, this is a continuous process. I have to connect with God and not break away ever. But when I'm breaking away, I need to come back and reinforce that. Faith is very difficult in this world. We just have to go back. We cannot just one time and that's it. No, it's a continuous process. Number 5, I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever remains in me, with me in him, bears fruit in plenty. For cut off from me, you can do nothing. There it is. If I cut off from God, my children will probably suffer. I remember, when I was in catechism, he said, the children will pay for the sins of the father. I was like, hey, God is not fair. If my father does something bad, he's going to punish me for it. I'm innocent. But what it means is the father and the family that is not leading a good life, the children will learn and suffer because of the mistakes of the parents. For example, if they do, parents wind up in prison or doing something illegal, the children are going to suffer somehow. So I have to continue with my faith and pass it on to my children. And here, let's see, I have to pass the good life, or else I will destroy them too. I'm a role model of the family. Okay, number 6. Anyone who does not remain in me is thrown away like a branch and withers. These branches are collected and thrown on the fire and burned. That sounds like if I fail to believe in the Word, not only I, but all my family will suffer, and they lose hope in God. And in other words, we will suffer. We will be punished either in this world and on the other when we pass. Okay, 7. You remain in me, and my words remain in you. You may ask for whatever you please, and you will get it. Only ask, and God will answer. Hope is free. I remember a priest that used to tell me, Maria, you can ask God 1,000,000 times a day. He never gets tired. And my father would tell my mother, God, you pray all the time. You're going to bother that man so much. You know, I mean, God doesn't have time for you. And I remember that, but then this priest was very nice. He was very outgoing. He, just like our priest here, he would say, just preach, pray all the time. He doesn't get tired. You can ask him 1,000,000 times. So I believe that's what is happening here. You know, you will be blessed. You go on and continue. Only as hope is free. That's all we can give to somebody, hope. Because without hope, you can have all kinds of breakdowns. And I mean, not just religious breakdowns, but all kinds of mental, etc. Okay, let's see, it is the glory, number 8, it is the glory of my Father that you should bear much fruit and be my disciples. Here it is. God will be happy God will be in His glory when I practice and pass on my teachings and be a model for the community again. And number 9, I have loved you as the Father has loved me. Remain in my love. Jesus is loved by the Father, and He has His love to us. If you keep my commandments, number 10, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and remain in His love. We're talking about love. The commandments are not just rules. I mean, that's how I feel. There wouldn't be anything if they were just there and I would read them. But it's all love that we have to share with other people. And I'm very, the first one is the first commandment, to believe in Christ and in God. And it's all about loving people. Love is not, I mean, it can be love of friends, love of animals, love of even the people that do wrong. It's very hard, but we have to love people that do wrong. 11, I have told you that this so that my own joy may be in you and your joy be complete. I believe here it says, I have received joy from God, and joy is necessary to face the obstacles of this world. We had a student from Spain, and I'll never forget that. He said, American kids are always happy. And I would say, not just American kids. He said, yeah, but kids are happy in this country. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, I've been to other countries and people look so depressed. And I said, well, sometimes they're too happy, I would say. They're too happy. And he would say, but they're always happy. They got music, they feel good. And I would say, yeah, but also about religion. I mean, faith, you have to be really happy. He said, yeah, but on the outside it looks great, he would say. This is number 12. This is my commandment. Love one another as I have loved you. I wish pass it on again. No one has greater love than to lay down. This is the one I have to go with. Lay down his life for his friends. I'll be honest with you. On this one, I will lay down my life for Maria and for my family, but I don't know about being killed because of a friend. Because I'm talking about.
My friend.
Okay, what I will try to help you save your life, but I've been in situations when I think we are telling Maria, we grew up in a very difficult neighborhood in San Angelo. They had 14 beer joints by our house. 2 nightclubs. And so I would see a lot of violence there. And my parents would say, don't go out there, just stay away. And I would say, well, yeah, but look, they're beating up somebody. Well, don't get involved, you get killed, I mean, call the police, but that's the help. Call the police, but don't go out there and start right. You don't even know what's going on. So that's what I learned. But if it was my wife that was being beat up, of course I would go in and give my life. I'm sorry, but that's a tough way to accept. That is very difficult. I discussed that with my friends that bring coffee in the morning. I said, will you give your life for me if somebody comes in here? Oh, I got kids. I have my wife, I have my family. Anyway, you're okay. Okay, 14, you are my friend. If you do what I command you, you are my friends. If you do what I command you. Oh, that's a hard one. The other commandments are all right. About lying.
Don't wipe that one out.
I shall no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know the Father's business. I call you friends, because I have made known to you everything I have learned from my Father. That's Jesus saying that He has taught me how to live. So I am equal to Jesus if I really do as He asks. We have to get the Spirit inside of us. That's the connection that I with Jesus Christ. And we will try to be equal with Him. Okay, 16. You did not choose me, no, I choose you. You go out and to bear fruit that will last, so that the Father will give you anything you ask Him in my name. Here I believe that we have to bear fruit, educate guide our children, guide people, our friends, and try to guide them. And that's the way we pass we pass it on to someone else. My command number 17 to you is to love one another. Again, I covered that when I'm ready. It seems like a little bit repetitious there, but he's talking about love. All right. if the world hates you, you must realize that it hated me before it hated you. Some people are cruel, even though they're aware of our teaching. Some of them are not going to change. People will not believe, even though Christ has done so much to prove to us that He is Savior. If you belong to the world would love you as its own. But because you do not belong to the world, because my choice of you has drawn you out of the world, this is why the world hates you. The cruelty of this world, that's how I interpret this, the cruelty of this world will, it's a difficult world to live in. The cruelty of the people in this world, I would be you try to follow the law of God and respect, etc. It's very difficult, but you just have to continue on with your beliefs. You follow God, you're going to face obstacles in life. Remember the words I said to you in number 20? It says that a servant is not greater than the master. If they persecute me, they will persecute you too. If they kept my word, I will keep yours as well. They will keep your words as well. Here, if evil people can misguide us, I saw that as a teenager. Some very good teachers would tell us, don't go out there, stay after school, clean up the building, because there's going to be a fight over there, and I don't want you all to get involved. And the ones that listened, we stayed. But the ones that didn't, they had to get up there and get into trouble. So, I think that's the way it works in this world. Okay, 21. But it will be on my account that they will do all this to you because they do not know the one that sent me. Here it is. Some people have not found God. So those who do not know God will hurt me and others. It will hurt us that believe. If I had not come, I had not spoken to them, they would have been blameless. This one is the one we always talk about with my friends. We say, how about the innocent people in Brazil, the primitive people that have never been told anything about God or any, the word has not been there. And I don't think God will, I believe that God will not punish them, I think. Because they don't know. They have never been. But us, we know. Once we are taught, we cannot be blameless. We know already what's good and what's bad. And we know what God has told us to follow. I would always wonder about the innocent people, or the ones that are slow, that are born slow, and they cannot read, or they can't think the way some people do, some of us do. I wonder about them. When they do some bad stuff and they don't realize they're doing something wrong. They're listening to their body. I have dealt with children like that at school, that their desires, their sexual desires, because they're slow learners. And sometimes they do bad stuff, sexually. I wonder about whether God will punish them sometimes. Okay, number 25. But all this was only to fulfill the words written in their law. They hate me without reason. In other words, there's the laws of men. There were laws of men, and then there's a law of God. And I believe Jesus suffered because of the laws that man passed. And some people in this world still suffer because of laws that are made by men. And that's, if we would go by the laws of God, we will be able to exist in this world. The last one, 26, when the Paraclete. Here, what it's saying is that if we live with the truth, at the end of my life, I believe that Jesus will judge me for my sins and for whatever goodness I do. And I would be judged that way. Jesus wants me to live a life of faith from the beginning to the end. It's a very difficult part of what John here, he is actually declaring that God is, that we connect to God our Father through Jesus Christ. I think that's what he's declaring all along, establishing that. Through Jesus, we get to God our Father. Maria was wondering, it's still talking about two persons. So no, I believe that God can do everything, right? I keep telling her. God can get into a person because he's God. He could be inside a person. He created a man, Jesus, and he got himself into Jesus, and to give us an example. That's the way I believe. Maria said, well, but you're still saying there's two persons. Well, that's not how I believe.
Chapter 15 is important then because what is happening during chapter 15? Where are we at? We're at the Last Supper. So these words are important because John takes a few chapters during the Last Supper simply to share with us what Jesus said at the Last Supper. Or that is to say, what it is. So we know that John is not giving us history per se, but John is putting these words into Jesus' mouth at his Last Supper. And what are some of those words? He starts off this chapter talking about, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you want to bear fruit, there's a branch right now that fell out of the tree and is in the front yard of our rectory. Is that branch going to be bearing any pecans anytime soon? No, because it's apart from the source of life. If we, like that branch, are away from the source of life, which is Christ, are we going to bear fruit? We can't. It's an interesting phrase for those of us in the independent Catholic tradition. Why? Because for centuries the church believed that it was the vine, and that anyone cut off from the vine, heretics, right, like Martin Luther, anyone who's cut off from the church is going where? To hell, right? You're going to church, you're going to hell, you heretic. Wait a minute, is the church the vine? What does Christ say in John chapter 15? I am the vine. You are the branches. It's hubris for any church to think that it is the vine from which other persons can be cut off. Wait a minute. The church is not the vine. Christ is the vine. After the I am the vine, you are the branches passage then, after that, then the rest of the chapter is about love and hate. Did you catch that? Verses 12 and 13 we often hear at weddings. I love one another as I have loved you. There is no greater love than this, to lay down your life for a friend. Thank you, Mario, for suggesting how difficult that is. But then what did Jesus do? Jesus laid down his life. For us? Really? What was he? Right? So there is no greater love than that. But I said the chapter is about love and hate. Where does the chapter go after talking about love? How did the world is going to hate? If you follow in Christ's footsteps, the world is going to reject you in the same way that the world rejected Christ.
We